your pets because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Certainly come from behind. I think that's fair. Probably not out of nowhere, but give them come from behind. The team that's now on fire as the biggest blowtorch in the National Football League and maybe sports is your Chicago Bears. Like, how'd that feel? Bear fan is all fired up and, oh, we got our quarterback and this is the year. And I got DC telling me how great they're going to be. He's 0-7. I mean, I love you. I think you're really smart, but
the Lion and I are not friends. I clearly have no understanding of how that works. Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious! Bear fan, and I know you're there. Let's talk today. Let's talk. Out of nowhere, your quarterback. I mean, it was just a press conference before practice, right? And all of a sudden, he takes a blowtorch to the season. Good morning to you. Happy Thursday. How you feeling today? It's the opening drive. It's game day on 95.9 FM and AM 630 Sports Animal. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, DC. What's up?
What'd it do?
You all right?
All right.
How you feeling if you're a Bear fan? Your quarterback went out and basically said, "No, I mean it's coaching." And I've heard people say, "Well, the media egged him on." No. Asked him a question. He said, I'm out there. I'm not being me. I'm thinking too much. I'm not me. Well, why do you think that is? I don't know. Coaching. I mean, is that the media's fault? Did the media run with this? Did they make something bigger? Like he tried to make it sound after practice when he went out and practiced and the Twitterverse blew up?
No, and it could be coaching. Like they could be overcoaching Justin Fields. I don't think he said a false statement.
You kind of said that yesterday or the day before, didn't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Watch him play. He looks like a robot, one that's the software hasn't loaded yet. It's still loading. And I don't think Justin Fields is saying anything wrong, but when you call people out like that, it creates noise. It creates more questions after the fact because it could very easily be. And other players have commented on this that, yes, at times coaches will give you a play and then overanalyze that play even to you. Like, X spider Y Z banana, but watch the high safety coming over here.
Alert check.
And
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
So much about Justin Fields needing to be a better passer. I think that is absolutely something that could be going on where they're overcoaching Justin Fields and he's almost just frozen at the quarterback position right now.
It's interesting.
It is. I read that basically he said in college they on Saturdays they'd let him go out and play, and he essentially was allowed not to think. So I can see being in the NFL now, every play being scrutinized is probably a lot for him to deal with.
All right, maybe all that's true. Maybe all that's true, and I'm going to even. I mean, granted, obviously some of it's got to be true, right? So you say that at the press conference? You're 0-2, and you do? So you think that was a good thing?
I think for him, it's one where...
Get me the hell out of here?
Not get me the hell out of here.
Get the coaches the hell out of here.
But it's a message, and while it's not going to land right for a lot of people, I think Justin Fields wanted to make that statement. But when he came back and just tried to backtrack and say, well, I'm never going to blame it on anything. It's all on me. Everything that happens on the field, drop pass, whatever it may be, it's on me and I take it. That was a moment of frustration that got the best of him because that was a calculated shot at your offense coordinator.
Well, sure it was. And so, I want to lean on you a little bit then. Okay, then who was it intended for? Who was
the offense coordinator?
Okay, but my point is, when you said it wasn't like a bad thing, who is it a good thing for? Where did it land? Was it his offensive line going? We're going to rally behind.
Maybe a realization that you need to call more than 4 running plays for the best running quarterback in the NFL.
Have a conversation with the man. I mean, you think this is the way to do that?
Sometimes you got to take your
shots.
shots.
Tell me when this has ever worked well. You got one?
Well, they're already a mess in 0-2.
Okay, 0-2 is 0-2. It's not 0-5.
If you can't handle a comment in the media
Yeah,
in this business,
yeah. All right, so you think this is good? It can be good.
think
I'm just trying to figure out
yes.
how it's going to be good.
sometimes people talk in frustration. And if you can't go back and then have a conversation after the fact, if you're OC and you can't get together and then formulate a plan after the fact,
Yeah.
it was never going to work.
Okay, so you wow. All right, I'm trying to think of a situation where noise like this is good, controversy around a team is good, and now in that market where the media loves it and it's going to swirl. I'm not going to blame this on the media because they did not construct it. They're going to run with it, and everybody's going to run with it, and everybody's going to look at this and just go, "Holy bleep, it's over." So the good outcome is what then? If it turns out to be
They
good,
got to go back to work on that offense. Like, they have to change whatever game plan they thought to make Justin Fields a better passer is not working.
And I'll ask you,
How were you not able to build off the end of last season where he was creating explosive plays?
they've lost 10 in a row with him at quarterback.
They have. But that was also the defense that they shredded themselves last year.
defense is
They
horrible.
traded their best players.
Yeah.
They came into this year. They made an investment in a new number one wide receiver. And that's after Chase Claypool. So it's DJ Moore, Chase Claypool,
Has Claypool haven't
Morning.
caught a ball yet?
Cole Kmet. Like, they invested in that. And this was supposed to be the step forward. And now all of a sudden, you had a guy that rushed for over 1,000 yards that has potential to be effective, was doing the complete opposite for 2 games, and you look terrible.
What are we going to do when he rushes and gets broken, by the way? Because right. That's the next thing. So Claypool he had 3 catches, was targeted 8 times. Huh. All right, so you think this can be good. I just don't know that I've ever recall an incident. And by the way, if it's going to be good, then why did he come back and backtrack? If he was trying to send a message to his offensive coordinator, and this is what he was trying to do, why did he go out on the field, come back, realize it blew up, and then say, "Oh, no. Why didn't
the same exact reaction that you have to this story?
Well, your point is, well, sometimes if you can't hear it, then you shouldn't be in it. Then why did he back? Because all of a sudden,
I don't know if someone PR guy said, "Hey, Justin, this is what's going on with your comments."
I'm gonna disagree with you. It just can't be both ways. It just can't be. You think it can?
It can't be, but can you not see how Justin Fields in that moment could be telling you the truth?
Yeah,
that
I think he was telling you the truth in the moment.
We're overcoaching on the offense.
Yeah.
And then a veteran PR guy says, "Justin, this is what's happening with the comments. What did you mean by that?"
I think it's 100% what happened. No. I think
he's still a young quarterback in this league, and probably like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let me not blame my coaches."
And let me retract every single thing I just told you, which by the way was the truth, but it's not the truth because it's my fault. I think what you're saying, I think it's absolutely what happened. And that's why it's such a disaster.
As you point out, Justin Fields does not have a resume to stand on.
Right, he's lost
to
10
be this
games
guy
in a
right
row.
now.
Yeah, look, I think what you said is 100% how it happened, which is why I think it's so bad. Like, honestly, if dude would have doubled down on it instead of crumbled and turtled, I actually think, to your point, there's more to it, and maybe something positive can happen out of this. Like, yeah, what I told you is what we're feeling. I probably shouldn't have said it to you. Like, I probably shouldn't have said it there. But yeah, I'm frustrated with the offense or whatever. Instead of nope, I'm sorry, that's not what I said. Isn't what I said. Well, no, dude, it is what you said. Well, what I said isn't what I meant. When we come back, you've got it, right? You've got the sound. Because, JJ, I think what you're saying is right. I think that's exactly what happened. And I think he's frustrated, and I think what they've done with the offense is so counter to what he is, right? Maybe they're trying to run an offense. Remember when, was it Mike Vick they tried to make the pocket passer? There's been guys
Everyone who's been
and mobile
quarterback.
Yeah, a mobile quarterback. All right, we're going to make him a pocket passer. And they've taken away what makes Justin Fields. JJ, I don't disagree with you in regards to, is he telling me the truth? I disagree that, I just don't ever think that's the form in which to air it. And so that's where you and I will disagree. But okay, fine. If you're going to do it, you can't crumble an hour and a half, 2 hours later.
Well, I guess
and
what's
go
the
back
difference
and say
between Justin Fields saying it and a coach saying it?
in the media?
Yeah.
I don't think either one of them should say it in the media. I don't think you need to be throwing either one of them under the.
Like when a coach says these players have to play better.
Or as opposed to you can't say you got to coach better, right? The coach says we have to play better. I mean, one's the boss and one's not the boss. I guess that's a really fair question, and I think it's accepted where the boss or the coach says we have to play better. I mean, it's rare that they say the players have to play better. They say we have to play better, right? You think they normally say, that quarterback's got to play better? I mean, it happens. I'm not telling you it doesn't happen. Yeah, so what's the difference? One's the boss and one's not. I think it's generally accepted more. It's a really fair point. It's a really fair question. You've got less coaches to point to than you do players. That's absolutely a valid point. And I don't think it's good either way, by the way. I don't think calling out a player or a coach in the media is the way to go. And I can't find a circumstance, and maybe there is one. You guys got one where it works, where it works well. It's somehow, okay, so all of a sudden the coaching staff and the player, now they get on the same page, and now they go win the Super Bowl. You got one? I'm listening. Now, again.
At this point, they just need to break the losing streak.
Win a game? All right, go out and win a game. Right? They just lost to Tampa Bay. They lose to open the season. They lost to Green Bay. Right? Yeah. Look, I think you're right. That's what happened. And I'm not looking to jump on the wagon. I just don't see any positive from this. I see a young man who was frustrated, was asked a question, was honest, and it's like, wow, okay. He just kind of took a torch to it, and then came back and tried to put it out with a squirt bottle. I didn't even have a garden hose. I mean, it's like spraying little psh, psh, psh on it, trying to put it out. And in fact, the thing was loaded with kerosene. You think he made it better by backing down?
There's no way to make it better once it's out there.
Right. I would have said, look, here's my point. You know, I feel robotic. I feel like I'm and we've had these conversations. Now, why am I telling you? I don't know. Frustrated? Probably shouldn't have, because now you guys got way too much crap to talk about. Well, listen to what he had to say. Boy, we got a lot to do today. 8:30, Jerry Palm's going to be with us. Hope you stay with us till 8:30. He's from CBS Sports. He's one of their gurus. We'll talk about the prime factor, of course. They got me wearing my shades. I'll bring them in tomorrow. I'll wear a hoodie and I'll go executive director Prime tomorrow.
Did you order the golds?
Oh yeah, I got like 280 something pairs of them, but I put on the samples yesterday. Yeah, Monica and Margaret and they had me going wearing them, and I'm ED Prime.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I got the Prime shades going. So I'll do this tomorrow. Because it just didn't go with the coat today. You know what I mean? It's kind of just a different look.
You could have pulled that off.
Yeah, I probably could have. I should have. I'll go get them. So 8:30, we're doing that. Going to talk some Louisville football. 8 o'clock as they go on to Massachusetts. The Vikings acquired some running back help. We got football tonight. When we come back, you'll hear what Justin Fields had to say, and what do you say about it on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
The Sports Animal.
All right, no Lobos today. Frank had to go to Ringo Starr last night, so he wasn't able to set anything up. So I guess no Lobo player today. I hope Ringo Starr was good though. I mean, I hope Frank enjoyed that. How come? I mean, how does one correlate to the other? Just curious.
I guess they all went to Ringo.
All right, fair enough.
Sir Ringo.
Everybody had a late night. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. That's how to get to us. All right, Bears fan, I know you're there. Like, Dr. Jim, you're there. Bears fans everywhere. I know it's been rough. I know it's been a run. I'm kind of curious how you feel about this. So here is Justin Fields yesterday at the press conference, and when asked, he was just talking about it and how it's how it's been going for the quarterback of the Chicago Bears.
Of course, things that I didn't like, I felt like, I wasn't necessarily playing my game. Felt like I was kind of robotic and, not playing like myself. So, my goal this week is just to, say F it and just go out there and, play football how I know how to play football.
When you say thinking less, what do you think was causing you to think so much?
Could be, coaching, I think. But, at the end of the day, it makes it, they're doing their job when they're giving me, what to look at and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I, can't be thinking about that when the game comes. I prepare myself throughout the week, and then when the game comes, it's, it's time to play free at that point.
So that's when people lost their mind. And look, is it that big of a deal? I mean, a little bit. It's a deal, right? When you say it's coaching, you're basically saying it's coaching, right? What's wrong? It's not me. It's coaching. Okay? So that goes crazy. He goes out to practice. Do we have his retort? Then he goes out to practice and gets coached, theoretically, right? And came back off the practice field. And JJ, to your point, I got to believe a PR guy, one of their media relations guys, pulled him aside and said, dude, its coaching thing has gone viral. Social media has lost its collective ever-loving mind. People are murdering you in the franchise. You got to put out this fire, right?
Yep.
And he probably goes, bleep. What do you want me to say? All I said was, yeah, dude, this is what you said. This is what, look at this. Oh my goodness. And so he does a complete reversal. And I guess, JJ, the way this went too was in the locker room after practice. He basically called the media over to him, right? Is the way I understand this, and said this.
You guys' jobs are to get clicks, so it's like when you take my quote out of context, and when you just say that, if you paint the picture on the inside out, like y'all are trying to split us up as a team. I'm not blaming anything on the coaches. I'm never going to blame anything on the coaches, never going to blame anything on my teammates. I will take whatever happens in the game, I will take all the blame. I don't care if it's a drop pass, it should have been a pass. Put it on me. But never will you hear anything come out of my mouth to where I will blame it on somebody else. In this organization, my teammates, never will you hear that. So I just want to clear that up and just know that, like, I need to play better. That's it, point blank. If y'all, that's what I should have said in the first place. But.
Yep.
That's worse than calling our coach.
Thank you. Yeah.
That is so much worse. If you want to say, at the end of the day, I take all the blame, that's fine. But it's the basic, you took it out of context line. You were just trying to get clicks. That's exactly what you said, Justin. That is worse. Calling out your coach, I'm fine with that at this point in time. Like, you got to have a conversation, you got to talk it out. Things happen in the media. But then to come back and blame everyone else, that's worse than calling out your OC.
Yeah, it's hard to back this guy. You can't, and JJ, I can't agree with you more now. Right? Fine. You want to call out your coach. I don't like it. I don't think, and you and I will differ on this, I don't think the media is the place to call out your coach. But okay. Especially at 0-2. Dude, it's not over yet. You're not done. Okay? But to start it off with, I know your guy's job is to get clicks. And you got to do it, and you took it out of context. I don't know. They played the whole damn thing, dude. You heard the whole conversation. What was taken out of context, Justin? With all due respect, young man, it's on you. And I get it that you're young, and I get it that you're frustrated, but you can't look, JJ, you know, I've expressed embarrassment about people in our field, right? In our profession. I do think there are times where things are taken out of context, that are blown up, that there are ridiculous questions asked. There are guys and ladies in our business who want it to be about them. This isn't one of them. This is not one of those. Adolph, I know you're a longtime Bear fan. How you feeling about this Gong show? Good morning.
Well, you know, there's two things that a quarterback must do in the NFL to be successful. And I don't care what era it is. I've been watching this game since like 1961. Okay? First, you have to deliver the football accurately. Two, you must make good decisions. Now, regarding Justin Fields. In my opinion, he doesn't see down the field. And because of that, he feels compelled to run as an immediate secondary option when his initial read is covered. He doesn't go through his progressions well, and consequently, then he has to run. Unfortunately, running quarterbacks don't last in the National Football League. They literally beat the run out of you. The plays that worked at the Ohio State University level don't work in the National Football League. Okay? So he has to basically get comfortable in that pocket. How did Eli Manning and his older brother Peyton last in the National Football League so long?
Throwing the ball and not getting hit as much.
Okay? They stayed in that pocket. Okay? It's a 17-game season. If you continue to run, you're not going to have 17 games in the season on your resume. Okay? This is, unfortunately, what he did as a frustrated young man. Mm-hmm. He lashed out on the coaches, and he wants to play free. Well, we know what happens when a quarterback plays free, okay? They get hurt, and they don't want to have their franchise player hurt. This is dependent on him learning how to read through and go through his progressions. I'm out.
Yeah, that's a lot of frustration there.
But there's a balance to that. If he doesn't run for 17 games, he's not starting 17 games because they aren't winning a game.
Yeah, so I think there's a balance to it too. And there are mobile quarterbacks. I look at Jalen Hurts, who
I know Lamar Jackson has missed time, but that dude's had a pretty good NFL career so far.
But I think there's got to be a growth in him throwing the football, right? And look, I'm not there. I don't think, to his point, they can coach the run out of him. I think they've got to coach some discretion into him. Does that make sense?
Yes. But they have absolutely, whether it's him overthinking it and trying to do too much early, or the coaching staff talking to him, have eliminated that.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, it's hard. When you've done something a certain way for a long time, I mean, look, I'm not going to lie. In this profession, I've done the way I do it for a long time, and I've been coached to do some things, right? And it takes a minute. It's hard. It's frustrating, right? No matter what you do, if you've done it a way a certain time and then you're being coached to do it another way, there's a learning curve. Do you think Justin Fields has to become a better passer and to Adolph's point, see down the field better? He does.
But that does not mean, there's zero comparison between the Mannings and Justin Fields. Zero.
Well, they're quarterbacks. That's the comparison.
It would take Peyton Manning 80 years
to accumulate the yardage.
Get to what Justin Fields did.
Yeah.
And I get you want the career
and it might
Peyton
take
Manning,
Justin Fields 80 years to do it.
But they're not the same player. Justin Fields can throw a football. Is he the best at playing in the pocket now? No, but you can't do a complete 180 on this man in the offense. That's not going to function the best. That's not going to get you there because he's doing is standing in the pocket, taking sacks 13% of the time now.
Okay, because I'm gonna side with him a little bit. He's got to get better in the pocket. Don't you think that's part of playing quarterback?
Yeah, but he's stuck in the pocket.
Yeah, no, I agree. Right.
He's not even making off-script plays.
Right.
Let's roll it to the side. He's just standing there, and then he's taking a sack.
Yeah, those are the two extremes. I get it. Right. Last year he was just running around. Now he's stuck, and there's got to be some sort of happy medium where let him be him because that's why you have him, and grow him in the pocket, and obviously there's a disconnect whether he is not receiving the coaching well or the coaching is not being sent well. There's a disconnect, right? I can't believe. Do you think they're just telling him do not run?
I think there was a communication where they're like, we need this to happen first. Because if he's talking about coaching, there are too many things are being said.
Obviously, yeah.
As opposed to, hey, boom, hit this, hit that, then go. It's make sure it's 1, 2, 3, 4. But you don't always have time to get to number 4.
Yeah, but you've got to go beyond 1, right? You can't be, if your first read's not there, tuck it and run. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. But it's also, the Bears were a disaster last year.
Okay.
And there was not even a sense of, all right, let's start to improve the passing game and continue to use this athleticism. It was just a complete, we're not calling run plays for this guy anymore. Make everything from the pocket. And it has frozen him.
Yeah, and because what did you say? There were 4 runs for him?
4
design runs?
2 games, 4 designed runs for Justin Fields.
And so there's got to be a medium somewhere, right? That's what that quarterback does well. You've taken that away from him and trying to force him to do something well that, granted, he's got to get better at. He's got to do it well. And there's a disconnect. The quarterback's not hearing it, or the coach isn't saying it, or the coach is throwing too much, and maybe he's expecting this quarterback to be able to handle it, and maybe the quarterback can't, whatever it is. The truth came out in the initial remarks. But I'm sorry, dude. Like, with all due respect, he lost me at, I know your job are to get clicks, but taking my comments out of context isn't right. Well, nothing was taken out of context. Bears fan, I'm listening, man. I know you're there. I'm listening. But this wasn't one of those. All right, when we come back, so what's going to happen with the Mountain West in the pack, the 2-pack, and what's left? What do you think about an English soccer style relegation, although it won't work, but they think it might? You have a good season, you move up. You have a bad season, you move down. 2 tiers, 1 league. Is that going to work? What does that mean? What might it look like? Who's proposing it? And what does it mean for the Lobos? Next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and 2-night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
These are more than just the sound of a safe place to go after school.
Stay with me. European-style relegation for your college football conference. All right, so some of you just said European-style football. Forget it, I'm out. All right, fair enough. I'm down. JJ, I know you like this for all kinds of different sports over the years. We've had this conversation. So the two-pack, Oregon State and Washington State, who believe that they control all the assets of the remaining assets of the Pac-12, the money and the liabilities, are trying to get creative when it comes to what kind of merger. There's been and it's been somewhat quiet, right? It's somewhat slowed down over the last few weeks, right? And you got to figure something's going to happen. There'd be a relegation kind of a thing where, and this would just be for football, potentially other sports, but essentially for football, where you'd have 2 conferences and you'd play up and down depending on what you did last year, right? Mountain West has 12 members. There are 2 Pac-12 teams. They would probably look at expansion to get up to 16. You see some of the teams that they were talking about expansion? South Dakota, North Dakota. It's really interesting. But get up, so that way you'd have 2 8-team conferences. One would get more money, one would get less. JJ, I think they think somehow that the top tier, or it would basically be the Pac and the Mountain West, would somehow still be considered a power conference and get not an automatic qualifying bid, but somehow they keep it at 6 automatic qualifiers into the college football playoff. Everything's on the table, is what people are saying, right? There are concerns how it would affect Olympic sports. Would the Olympics soccer style scoring system for the standings, right? So 3 points for a win, none for a loss. They're considering that kind of a thing. What do you think of this initially when you hear this?
I don't hate it, especially when it comes to football, because college football, you have to start thinking differently. And what I do like about it is potentially not everything else is attached to it. Like, all right, you can do this for football.
Or potentially it is. I mean, I don't know that they've ruled it out.
Well, I think that would be a disaster.
I think I agree with
to have every program in a promotion, relegation type deal, as opposed to, all right, we're going to focus on this for football because that's the entertainment, that's the money, that drives the bus. And then your Olympic sports continue to do their thing, their schedule, have your schedules, play it out. Because at this point, you know things are changing. And if you tie yourself to this model, it is going to collapse. When you are sending programs everywhere and you're attaching every single program to one thing, it's not going to work. Does this mean this model is the way to go? I don't think that they're going to find a happy medium, because when it comes to budgets, that's what they're talking about. You know, what happens if we plan for next year's budget, but then we're not good and we're in the Mountain West and we miss out on $5 million of revenue. So I think that's a hurdle they're not going to overcome. But I love the fact that they're trying to figure out something different with college football.
And what do they do with all their other sports? So the way this would work is that they basically, two leagues would keep their names, right? You'd have the same branding status basically for the Pac-12 or the Pac-8 in the eyes of the College Football Selection Committee, although it's a tough sell to them. And the Mountain West would exist. The conference would be separate in the eyes of the NCAA and the CFP. And so theoretically, you could get two teams into the CFP, right? If the Mountain West, what they're thinking is, it would be if the Pac-8 remains a power conference and automatic qualifier, and then the Mountain West is the highest group of 5, that year you can get two teams in. They would protect their payouts from NCAA basketball tournament shares and auto bids for the tournament. The goal for the remaining members of the Pac-12, which is 2 of them, Oregon State and Washington State, plus all of the Mountain West, would be to add 2 more teams to get to 16. It would create basically 2 8-team conferences, bound by a relegation agreement. It would apply potentially for sports beyond football. So, JJ, this would be interesting, right? You know, as we stand now, UNM would be in the Mountain West in basketball. I'm sorry, in football. Potentially, I don't know, would they be in the top 8 of those 16 in basketball? Right on the cusp right now, right? How many teams made the NCAA tournament last year? 5? 4. 5, 4. So they'd be 4. They'd be 5th in this league, and they'd probably be in the Pac-12 in basketball, right? So first place team for the Mountain West regular season is promoted to the Pac-12 for next year.
So I think that's where it makes sense to just, hey, football, do your split, and then have your 16-team Mountain Pac.
But I don't know that that's what they're talking about. Right? So, but here's how the relegation would work. Okay, Mountain West regular season, first place, you're promoted to the Pac-12 next year. Last place team is relegated to the Mountain West. The number 6 and 7 teams in the Pac-12 would play off to not get relegated. Number 2 and 3 teams in the Mountain West would play off for promotion. So you're adding another game that weekend of the championship weekend, I'm assuming, right? So whoever finished last and first, you're up and down, right? So if you finish dead last in the Pac-12, you're in the Mountain West next year. If you win the Mountain West, you move up. I guess you'd have to have I guess you wouldn't have championship games anymore. And then number 2 and 3 have another game to for relegation or for promotion. It's interesting. It sets up in-season matchups, right? Would you cross the 2 leagues?
You still have the Pac would have a conference championship game.
The Pac could have a championship game, okay, with the Mountain West, because then whoever loses it has to play another game, right, against third place to see who gets promoted. I don't know. We'll work. I don't know. I hated it when I first heard it. I'm listening to it now. Here's one thing it would do. It would eliminate some of those fears of being left out, right? For whomever it is, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah State, Hawaii, whoever we're talking about, right? Now, what does that do for your other sports in Hawaii and all that? I think it's an interesting talking point. They're thinking differently. You like it?
I do like it.
Okay.
Because if you just do more of the same, this is where you are. In a system,
more of the same would be just merging the league completely.
Well, more of the same, and just you're chasing the SEC and Big Ten, and that's a gap you're never going to overcome. So, how can you generate interest and revenue, keep things exciting, keep yourself afloat? And it's realizing that football can't be attached to everything else.
That I think is the biggest thing. But everything I'm reading now and everything I've read, this isn't just football.
Well, it's split. There's people that say they want to see football and basketball.
Yeah.
And then Olympic sports, you can have your Pac Mountain Conference for that. And others believe
but where the money is, you split it up. Their thought is that it would basically preserve the Pac-12 title game, set up the league for a bid in the 12-team college football playoff. I'm not sure I think that is going to be accepted by people outside of this league. Do you? So you're the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, and you're saying, all right, so basically as it stands right now, right? Let's just say, let's look at the standings in the top 8 right now. And is this league good enough that
it's never going to be good enough.
Well, then
if you're asking the SEC and Big Ten.
But they count. Their votes matter, right? Your league right now would be Washington State and Oregon State, Fresno State, Air Force, Wyoming, Boise State, honestly, UNLV and San Diego State. UNLV would be in. And then the Mountain West would be what's left. Okay. It's out there. Want your thoughts. 505-246-0610. It's interesting. It's different. It's they're thinking out of the box. Do you like it? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night, and even tonight, football.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive lens exchange, the latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Big one. I talked to my nephew up in Eugene. Goes to the University of, as my mom says, Oregon. Oregon's popping right now. Dion coming in. Tickets are going for, he's like, I could sell my ticket for $500 if I want. I'm like, I don't know, dude, you're a college kid. No, I want to go. Okay, they all want to go. I don't blame him, by the way. I'm not telling him he should sell it. I mean, I love it. All right, what do you think about this relegation thing? Pac-12, Mountain West, Pac-2, whatever it would be. Jeff says, I like something different. Make both conferences news at the end of football. I think it empowers basketball programs to think Pac-12. I think incentivizes football to move up for more money. End of the season for football can become relevant. This non-soccer guy now watches Wrexham cheering for them to move up to the upper league. Now something interesting for me to watch when it comes to European soccer. Our Olympic sports would probably get more exposure with West Coast teams. I don't know how much. Maybe. This one says the Power Four will not give the Pac whatever the CFP distribution. They feel they need more money, especially with their four conferences have become bigger from eating up the Pac. See, that's kind of my thought process on this. Is the Pac Mountain West merger consortium, whatever this is going to be, I think that's wonderful. But JJ, this is what I was saying, is the Power Four aren't going to distribute the money evenly because they don't value whatever these two leagues would look like up to their valuation. Right?
They're not going to do it regardless.
I agree with that. No, I agree with that.
You need the money, you need to try to find a seat at the table, but they're also telling you that there's only 40 teams they care about, and it's 28 in each league, and the rest of y'all can bleep off. So you got to try to do something to stay afloat, survive, find some money from your television partners, find some incentives for your schools, because it's not going to be getting a high five from the SEC or Big Ten.
Yeah, I think all that's right. I mean, I don't mind the creative thinking. I like the fact that it somewhat eliminates being left out. Well, not somewhat. I mean, it does. You like this better than saying let's merge it under one banner, being the Pac whatever, the Pac Mountain or the Mountain Pac, or just going Pac-12 or whatever, Mountain whatever.
It feels like for Oregon State, Washington State, that's their last.
Because they don't want to do that. Yeah, they don't want to do that. And they feel that they'd be safe up there all the time. And at some point, their resources are going to become the same as Boise State's and Fresno State's and San Diego State. It's going to be interesting to see what they are in 5 years, 10 years in relationship to some of the schools in this conference, the Mountain West, that have the same resources that they're going to have moving forward, right? But I agree with that. That's probably what they want to do. They don't have a lot of choices at this point, right? They just don't. As much as they think that they get, or they want to make the calls, they don't. You know, there's power in numbers, and their numbers are 2. Now, they've got dollars there. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of assets that the Pac-12 has. And the way I'm starting to hear it, the Pac-12's assets outweigh their liabilities. It's starting to sound like yes. So there's value for everybody. I will watch it. It's something that I know really interests you. It's important to you. And where does this go? Did you see Nick Saban on Deion yesterday?
What's he chatting about?
Well, not just Aflac, by the way. He was on 24/7 Sports, and Saban was asked about Coach Prime and the Aflac stuff and all that stuff. Quote from Saban: "I have a tremendous amount of respect for Deion Sanders. First, he's a great person, done a great job of marketing the program to create a lot of national interest. I see their team playing well on the field. They play with discipline. They do a good job of executing. They've been able to score points, playing decent on defense. All those things to me are indicators he's a really good coach. I've always thought that, and he's always been successful, whether it was Jackson State High School or now Colorado. His teams have always been well coached," end quote. That's kind of cool. I think Deion gets, and I don't know this. I know his teams play well, and he's really smart and surrounded himself with good coaches, right? That's one of the things you hear all the time about. He's surrounded himself with a great coaching staff. Whatever he did at Jackson State, whether it was the same method or not, and if that's his method, by the way, good for him. He's a genius. If he says, "Look, my job, I'm really good at promoting this thing," it's a tremendous formula. He's got to be a pretty good football coach, though, right? He's an insane motivator, right? Do we deny that? Isn't that part of what coaching is?
It is part of it.
Is Deion a great coach or just a great promoter? I'm going to have the conversation how he's doing it. Because I'm going to tell you, well, I'll tell you what I'll tell you when we come back. I want to know what you think. Great coach, great promoter, great salesman of sunglasses. Well, certainly that. By the way, did you see the historic numbers for the Colorado State game? It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, DC will do the red zone at 8:15 and Jerry Palm at 8:30 on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Monday night and Sunday night and tonight football.
London.
Olivas going to the corner of the end zone. Nice grab there by Josh Jackson, and that's going to be a touchdown, El Dorado.
Their strong point, their focal point here.
Nelson will keep it himself for some room on the right side. Nelson's on his feet, and he is in. It's a touchdown for Noah Nelson.
Sliding, they slid out of going out there. Linebacker, they're going for the big gutter play. How did he hold on to that, Ethan Olguin? My goodness, a 32-yard bomb. He's going to launch this one long, and it's a little bit short, but what a pull down. Fabian Trujillo, unbelievable, this man.
Dyer, back to pass. Pressure, gets out of it nicely. On the sideline, got an open man. It's Lambrana. Cheeto made one miss. Cuts back up the middle. Another cut to the right, and he's all the way down at the 10-yard line.
Is that Sweet Pete Jr.?
Right?
That's Sweet Pete Jr. right
What a
there.
move there by Cheeto Lambrera.
Second and 1, give it to Gallus. Once again, he evades one tackle, evades two. Breaking into the open, there's a block. Bye-bye. And he breaks the last tackle to get through. Jack Gallis with the touchdown.
With his defense so far. Vukovic, and that ball is ripped up. Bernalillo will have this ball at the 1 yard line.
That's the extra yards for Cheeto. Dyer quickly, it's batted into the air, and it is picked off. Rams football as Rio Rancho finally gets the turnover they need as it's tipped into the waiting arms of Vincente Tafoya. Ryan Brown that punched it into the air and allowed Tafoya to come away with it. Let's see if Nelson can make it pay.
Back.
No! LaQueva gets it back on another tip drill. It falls into the waiting arms of the senior Luke Ryder.
Kick is up. It will bounce into the arms of Daniel Garcia, and Garcia explodes through the middle. He dodges Castro, and Garcia will run that one back from about the 17-yard line.
Big one, game day. I think they're going to Eugene, right? Is that where game day is going to be? Just follow Coach Primer on. I was on some calls yesterday. And then saw the numbers. Did you see the number, the viewership for Colorado State on Saturday night, Sunday morning?
Gigantic.
It destroyed the number for most watched game ESPN has ever put in that late 10 o'clock Eastern time slot. 9.3 million people average viewership. I think it peaked over 11 million. And I heard somebody say we got the number and we thought something was wrong. Like when we saw the number, we had to go back and like verify the number because we thought it wasn't right. That's what's going on here. And look, the networks, whether it's Fox, ESPN's got the game this week. It'll be Fox next week in Boulder when SC comes to town. I was looking at hotels up in Colorado next week. Probably going to go to Wyoming and Air Force, and I'm like, wow, everything's really high. And then I realized, oh yeah, SC is going to be playing in Boulder next week. It's insane. What we're watching is insane. Look, he must be a good coach. I'm not there every day for X's and O's. And we have this conversation with head coaches frequently. When you become a head coach, how much of a football coach are you? Right? How much are you X's and O'ing? And they'll tell you it's about 20, 25% of what they do. When you become the head coach, you've got all the media stuff, and you've got personnel stuff and budgetary stuff and appearances and boosters and fundraising. And we have the conversation all the time. How do you rise to that level? You're a good X and O guy, a great recruiter, whatever. But then you get to that point, are you really coaching? You're motivating. My contention would be he's got to be a heck of a football coach. Because I believe motivation is a gigantic chunk of it. And I got to believe he knows the game. Does he coach a position? I mean, is he active, in practice? I don't know. But he's smart enough that he's got great staff around him. There's no doubt he's an insane motivator. Is he a good football coach? I mean, I don't know if the results are the determining factor. He's a damn good football coach, isn't he?
I do wonder when he ever coaches.
Right?
Like, I get that sense sometimes. Like, he's on every interview, he's doing every podcast. But that's also the genius of being a college football coach right now. is because he has talented players. They don't have to grind it out for every extra inch, every advantage. He has a good staff. And I think there's different types of coaches. Some coaches are still the all-in guy. This is my specialty. This is what I'm going to do.
I'm coach of the defensive line.
I'm the head coach, but
yeah,
this is my focus. And then others that are just kind of the CEO of everything. And Deion Sanders understands the game, but he understands how to play the college football game in this moment. And that is being a CEO / motivator, because there's no question his teams are always playing hard.
Let me give you something else. Because it parlays on what you were just saying. He's everywhere, right? He's on 60 Minutes. He's on every podcast. I mean, he's everywhere. A guy who talks that much and is so opinionated. I mean, Justin Fields barely spoke yesterday and stepped in it, and he's all over the place. Deion really hadn't said anything that's controversial, has he? I mean, controversial to the point of when asked who's the best coach, he says, "Give me a mirror, and I'm, so I can see him." But I mean, nothing that you just go, "Did you believe what he just said?" Everybody is on it. Now, is he polarizing? Does everybody love him? No. I get that. And DC, you were talking about the boosters up there who are really kind of at arm's length because they know it's going to end, which I've got my thoughts on too. But it's not like he says a lot, but it's not a lot of stuff where you just go, "Can you believe what that guy said?" Now, my mom asked me the other day, "Who's this coach with the sunglasses that just told all the players to leave?" I'm like, "How are you not hearing this story?" I don't follow football. I don't like football. Okay, and that's not very nice. I said, "Mom, his job is not to be nice. His job is to win. That's why they're paying him millions of dollars." And they're 1-11. He cleaned house. Well, he just came in and told them all to leave. Well, essentially, yeah. Yeah. What do you want him to tell them? Well, you can go out and try. No, he was honest with them. Right. I get the polarizing piece of that, but we're kind of past that now that he's winning it, aren't we? We've kind of gotten over he's switched 82 players over, whatever. We're relatively over that, aren't we? I don't hear that anymore. Do you?
I don't.
The way he's done it, and I know we've talked about nobody else has or can do it this way. Like, you've got to be a certain cat to do that. And he came in, he was already Deion, right? He was already primetime. You can't just be a dude that just comes up and does that. But to grow the image, and yes, winning does everything. Winning helps. To grow the image, to grow the brand, to grow the legend that is Deion, that is primetime. JJ, for crying out loud, I didn't think he can get any bigger. He is the biggest. Who would you say was the next biggest figure in college football? Is it Saban? Was it Tebow? I mean, none of those guys were on. Well, I guess so. Saban might have done 60 Minutes.
Nick Saban.
Who's crossing over? Who's getting my 86-year-old mom to say, "Hey, so who's this coach with the glasses?" Right? He's LeBron, Steph Curry. Baseball doesn't have one. Right? Peyton Manning. But he's that guy. So I'm going to go back to the very premise of this. And I'll ask you guys, is he a good football coach? Or does it even matter?
Yes.
I think so too.
Like he is, because he understands the way the college football business model works.
And he's utilizing it in a way that nobody else has. And I'm not sure anybody else can
do what Deion Sanders can do.
You think he's a good football coach?
I think he's a good college football coach. I think he's a really good CEO and manager. I know CEO is kind of a position that is sort of emerging in college, so he kind of feels like the first one.
It's emerged. If you're the head football coach, you got to be the CEO.
Yeah. So I don't know if this translates to the pro game per se, but I can't sit here and say he's a bad coach. The guy has won. He's brought attention to his program. He's made them a bunch of money. He's so far so good.
So you're still kind of holding out. You're waiting for the bottom to drop out of this thing.
I look at their schedule, and I just wonder what is the world saying if they're 3-3? What if they're saying
who they get after at Oregon and SC? I'll tell you. But all right, go on.
It's just Colorado, Boulder in general is a different world, and they'll turn on you fast because they have so many other things to do. You talk about making 500 this weekend. Well, if CU wins, all those students are going to be trying to get 800 so they can pay off their Epic Pass.
Okay.
But then someone else is going to be in those seats.
USC fans.
Maybe.
It usually is in that game.
Maybe. So what? If that place is popping next Saturday, they get SC at big noon. It's going to be 10 o'clock in the morning game? They're playing a 10 o'clock in the morning game. I mean, you got to start boozing at 7 o'clock in the morning for that game.
That's dangerous.
Probably just don't go to sleep.
10 a.m. they're playing that game because Fox wants it on big noon. By the way, I hate that. That was part of the deal when Fox got that Pac-12 deal, and they were saying you might be playing some 9 a.m. West Coast games. Hate it.
I do too.
But anyway, that's besides the point. They get Arizona State and Stanford after these two games. They're not losing those two games. They're just not. They're a bowl team, aren't they?
Yep.
I mean, if they win one of these, but let's say they lose those two, they beat Arizona State and Stanford. They're at 5. They just need one more. UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona, Washington State, or Utah. They're a bowl team. I mean, I got bowl buddies who are licking their chops. Vegas Bowl. How about Dion in Vegas?
Be a good week.
I mean to tell you, I got a good buddy of mine runs that game.
Prime time.
I mean, he is licking, and good for him. He had that Florida, Oregon State dog last year, where 29 Florida guys didn't play. He's a good coach because he's figured it out, and they win. And his players seem to love him. Well, the guys who weren't there, they weren't his players. Those guys don't love him. I'm sure the guys from Colorado who were forced out don't love him. But they were 1-11, man. He was brought in to win and turn this thing around. What he's done for that place is unbelievable. Unprecedented, unseen, insane.
You know, and you are right about that. Their last winning season was 2016.
They were horrible. They weren't even an afterthought. They were a laughing stock. They were, because they were in a conference that mattered, and they were a joke. And now they are the biggest thing in sports. Red Zone next. We're going to tackle the National Football League when we get back. Big stories, big deals. Jerry Palm at 8:30. Opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal. Your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Klein Tools.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
I'm going to Tom Brady this thing.
You're in the red zone with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Let's go, baby!
It's first and goal.
The New York Giants are currently a 10.5-point underdog at the 49ers tonight. After scoring 0 points in the first 6 quarters, the Giants blew up for 31 points in a comeback win versus the Cards last week. Would you take the Giants plus 10.5 or the over, which is currently at 43.5?
All right, so I preface this by telling you we don't know if whatever we take go against us because JJ's 2-6, I'm 3-3, and DC is 0-7.
The king.
So I almost always would take 10.5, but I won't tonight. I think Niners defense is going to score. No Saquon. I don't know how they're going to move the ball. I think the Niners score on defense. So I'm all, as much as it kills me, I'm about the Niners laying it, and I would go over 43.5. So go the other way.
And I'll go San Francisco covers, and it's the under. I just don't see the Giants being able to generate enough offense without Saquon Barkley against that San Francisco defense. Last week was a reminder that Matthew Stafford is still pretty darn good. Daniel Jones ain't that guy. This, to me, I think is like a 27-10 type of game in favor of San Francisco.
Second and goal.
Ready, down, put.
The 0-2 Chargers hit the road to face the 0-2 Vikings this weekend. Despite the records, Kirk Cousins and Justin Herbert have both had strong statistical starts, with Cousins in the top 5 of most quarterback categories. On the flip side, the Vikings are currently ranked 30 in total defense, while LA sits at 31 in total passing defense, giving up 333 yards per game passing, a 4-to-1 TD to interception ratio, and a 69.9 completion percentage. Currently, the Chargers are a 1.5-point favorite on the road with the over-under set at 53.5. What is your favorite parlay bet for Sunday's Minnesota-Los Angeles matchup?
I've been looking at yardage totals in this game for Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. I think you'll probably get Joshua Kelly pretty coming off a below average performance against a very good Tennessee Titans run D. So if I'm looking at parlaying player totals in this game, if I'm going outside of just the money line, stuff like that, give me all the yards for the quarterbacks and the wide receivers in this game.
So I'm going Vikings. I like the Vikings. I'm going over Kirk Cousins, 293. I'm going over Justin Herbert's 284. And I'll take Keenan Allen's only at 25. You get him minus 220 at over 60. I'll go over 60 on Keenan Allen.
3rd and goal.
The Washington Commanders went 4-0 during the preseason this year, then started the regular season 2-0. The Bills lost a tough one versus the Jets in Week 1, then came back for a strong win in Week 2 at home versus the Raiders. The Bills are a 6.5-point favorite on the road against the Commanders this Sunday. What does the Washington football team need to do this weekend to cover or even win this game?
I think they can cover. I think their defense is good enough to cover, and they can fluster. Josh Allen had one good game, one bad game, right? I mean, is one consistency yet? I go back and look and see what did the Jets do to him in game 1. I think that they've got enough up front that they can pressure him. I'd like to keep him in the pocket as opposed to let him get loose. But I think they can cover if they put enough pressure on Josh Allen. Now, that means the back end's got to be able to cover for a little bit. I'm not super worried. People tell me, oh, James Cook, and I'm not worried about their running game. I'm worried about frustrating Josh Allen.
I think for Washington, Chase Young back, he got a sack. He's a motivated player. He's battled injuries. They did not pick up his 5th-year option, adding to what is a good defensive front in Washington. And we know that Josh Allen is a roller coaster ride. Last week, he was great. So as much junk as he got from Monday Night Football, he had to take a step back and go, man, he made some ridiculous throws, took care of the football. But why it could be close is because it's a flip of the coin. You never know which Josh Allen you're going to get.
4th and goal.
Did I stutter? Beer me.
So, out of all the other underdogs this weekend, and there are some big ones, which is your favorite to win outright?
The Los Angeles Rams.
Dude, there's a bunch of them. I love the Rams too. New Orleans at Green Bay. And the other one's Tennessee. I think there's a bunch under. I got 5 underdogs I think could win. The Jets are underdogs at New England. The Falcons are underdogs at the Lions. The Saints are underdogs at Green Bay. Yeah, and the Rams.
The Rams and Titans both jumped out at me as well. I was surprised you guys went there first.
The Titans were the first ones I had. But yeah.
After the Browns last weekend, the Titans are really tempting.
Titans are playing the Browns?
Yep.
What impresses anybody about the Browns? Defense. They beat the Bengals 23-3. No, their defense is really good. And this is one of those games where I get the spread because they could really frustrate Ryan Tannehill, right? Tannehill's good against not good teams. He's not been good against good teams. Who'd they beat last week? The Chargers. Chargers going to go 1-3?
I think so. I
do too.
Minnesota's defense they're not very good though. So
all right. The Chargers are giving up. They scored 50-something points in lost.
Are the Vikings going to go 0-3?
Maybe one of them is.
Who needs it more though? Who needs this win more?
There's no doubt they both do. I mean, if you start 0-3, you're not catching the Chiefs. So in the AFC, can you afford it more than in the NFC? Is really what you're asking me, right?
Because this is the new tipping point. Because all the reference points we're using are 16-game seasons.
Look, here's the deal. If the Vikings lose, the furthest they're back is 2 games. That's if the Lions win and the Packers win. Or the Packers win, I guess. Now, those teams could both lose. Packers are playing New Orleans. The Lions are playing Atlanta. They could both lose. So the Vikings could lose, be 0-3, and just be one game back in their division. The Chargers, I don't think Kansas City's going to lose. They could lose, go 0-3, and just be 2 games back, but they're not catching Kansas City. I mean, they're both in really similar divisions, right? The Broncos aren't any good. The Raiders aren't any good. Chiefs are. The North, the Bears seem to be horrible. Lions and Packers are decent. I think the Vikings can afford a loss more than the Chargers can.
Yeah, I agree. When you break it down like that, you're right about the North. I mean, there's realistically still, even though there's some 0-2 teams, anyone could win that one. I don't get the same feeling from the West.
No. I mean, they got to fight for a wild card. All right, when we come back, man, there's big stuff in college football this weekend. Big stuff in college football this weekend, including the big one in Eugene. Jerry Palm from CBS Sports, he's one of their gurus. He's going to be with us. I'm going to ask him, is Dion a good coach? Wonder what he thinks. Next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. I'm excited to talk to him about this. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and tonight football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Sit around, but let me plan your day for you. So Lobos are on ESPN Plus at 1:30, or you can listen to JJ Buck over on News Radio KKOB. Lobos and UMass. You get game day from Eugene. You get early morning game. Your choice of Florida State and Clemson, which is really good. Right? Florida, I mean, it should be really good, shouldn't it be?
Yes.
At Clemson down in Death Valley, or Oklahoma, Cincinnati. Then the 1:30 window, you get Colorado, Oregon, the Lobo game, and UCLA, Utah, and Ole Miss, Alabama. 5 o'clock window, you get Oregon State, Washington State, which I think is really good. And then you also get Ohio State, Notre Dame. And you get Iowa, Penn State. And then the late window, you get all the West Coast games, SC, Arizona State. And that's actually on Fox. You can watch SC. So you can watch them this week. I mean, you got stuff. We're tempting Jerry Palm. It starts on Friday, by the way. Tomorrow night, would you call this still a premier game in the Mountain West? Boise State at San Diego State?
Yes, because both teams are looking at Mountain West play. Or not, we're going to
reset,
shake off this non-conference mess, and go win a Mountain West championship.
San Diego State is 2-2. They will host Boise State tomorrow night. They beat Ohio and Idaho State, lost relatively handily to UCLA and Oregon State.
It's not how you get promoted to the Pac-2.
Well, yeah, there's only 2, so there's 6 spots left, so you don't get relegated because of that, though. Boise State lost big to Washington, lost on a last-second field goal on the Blue to Central Florida of the Big 12, and then beat North Dakota. This is a big game to set the tone in the Mountain West. So you get that on CBS Sportsnet. Also at the same time, an Air Force team who's a quiet 3-0 because they beat these two dudes, right? I mean, they didn't even beat whole teams. They beat Robert Morris and they beat Sam Houston. All right, so you beat some dude named Bobby Morris and Sam Houston. They get James Madison next. And then they beat Utah State 39-21.
Especially now that there's no divisions. It's not like, oh, well, Los Angeles State, but it'll be all right. Let's go
You
get
win
it
your
back.
division, right.
Like, this is big for everyone because there's been one whole conference game up to this point. Air Force beat Utah State.
Yeah. And so now here we go with conference games this week. And also in the conference, you're going to get that is the only conference game this week. In conference game. But you got interesting stuff. The game in Laramie interests me a lot. 5 o'clock on Saturday, App State at Wyoming.
Oh, that's be a good one.
Isn't that good? Let me give you sneaky good. And let's see what Colorado State's about. Colorado State goes to Murfreesboro to take on Middle Tennessee. Jeff, who's Middle Tennessee? Well, they're one of the better teams in Conference USA. Well, they're 1-2, Jeff. Okay. They lost to Alabama. And then they played Missouri 23-19 on the road. Did you watch any of that? Rick Stockstill is one of the best coaches that you haven't heard of in college football. He's been at Murfreesboro for 18 years. He's built a pretty nice program there. They went and they played toe-to-toe with an SEC team in Missouri. And then and they beat Murray State. So this is an interesting one because I think it's a good Conference USA team against a Mountain West team that, I mean, Did they shoot it last week, or did they grow off of last week? Like, what do you think Colorado State is? They're 0-2. They lost to 2 Pac-12 teams. I don't know what they are.
If you're Colorado State, you hope that the play you got out of your quarterback, who's making his first start, is the start of something to where that team, that program can start to turn the corner. It's one where the emotion that went into that game, the Deion Sanders versus Jay Norvell, the players, no one respects us, all that stuff that's heavy. But just pick up where you left off.
How do you, this is where Jay Norvell's got to coach now. With everything that went into last week, with everything that was the rivalry, the emotion, the yapping, the chirping, as Deion calls it, the bull junk, right? Now you got to get these guys up and convince them. And look, I be like Lobo fan, right? And it's kind of like actually somewhat like the Lobos have to do. They had the big rivalry game, and now you got to convince them that UMass is a good team. Middle Tennessee is not a joke. I think it's a scary game. Middle Tennessee's a 3-point favorite. I like Middle. You think I'm wrong on that?
No.
All right. You like Wyoming laying 3 at home against App State? App State had that close loss down at North Carolina. They beat Gardner-Webb. Good win over an American team in East Carolina at home in Boone last week. It's an interesting one, man. I'll tell you a lot about
it. It's a good weekend. It's Friday night, 2 Mountain West games.
Yep.
That's Air Force at San Jose State, watching Boise State at San Diego State, and then good non-conference matchups that are between the like opponents should be close games overall.
You also get Nevada on the road in San Marcos. They're 17-point dogs against a Texas State team that turned it around, beat Baylor, lost close game to UTSA, and then put up 77 on Jackson State last week. 77 on Jackson State last week. James Madison, Scott Stigler's alma mater, will be in Logan. What do you think the line is? Have you looked at it? If I told you James Madison's going to Logan to play Utah State, what do you think that line is?
JMU 6.5.
Right on the number. I mean, JMU is 6.5. Surprised me a little bit. All right, UNLV's at UTEP. I think this line's light. UNLV's a 2.5-point favorite at UTEP. It feels like stealing, doesn't it? UTEP's really struggling. They're 1-3. UNLV's coming off a win over an SEC team, going on the road. Doesn't it feel like that's stealing money?
That's a prove it line. You got the win last week at home in Vegas, beat Vanderbilt. What are you doing in it? El Paso, Sun Bowl. You gonna be too high on yourself? That's a prove it line for UNLV.
All right, I love that. Fresno State's laying 27.5 at home against Kent State. This is almost a trap game for Fresno State. Almost. Kent State's nice, but you just came off a 29-0 shutout at Pac-12. You get Nevada next week before you got to go to Laramie. Well, I'm a week late. I'm going to Laramie, or a week early. I'm going to Laramie. I should go up that next week and go see that game. That would be the game. And then you got New Mexico State at Hawaii. The Aggies are getting 3 at Hawaii. I kind of like the Aggies getting 3. It's a long trip. I know where they were last week or the week before. That's points in that game, isn't it? Over, under 57. You going high on that? Feels like points in that game, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's your Mountain West schedule. It's an interesting one this week. There's chances, but there's also chances for real disappointment, right? Because there's no chance for a gigantic win. What would be the biggest win? Would it be App State? Beating App State? Right? But there's some chances for letdown. You get beat by Texas State, your fan base, well, you're Nevada, you're hurt. Utah State lose to James Madison. They don't realize how good they are.
Yeah, App State would be the most marquee name for just the average Mountain West fan.
Right. I think that's right. All right. But you got on the rest of the schedule, on the national schedule, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Oregon State, Washington State, Ole Miss, Alabama, UCLA, Utah, Colorado, Oregon, and Florida State at Clemson. 21-point dogs is Deion in Colorado, by the way. You guys like that? I'm on Colorado. Give me 20. You're going to give me 21?
I think it opened at 17.5 too.
Yeah, I'm taking 21. Don't you think?
I can't do it.
They may not win that game, but you think they're going to get run out of the built? Is Bo Nix that good?
So let me ask you this. When you say run out of the built, what does that actually mean?
Well, 21.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I mean, what does get run out of the building mean to you?
When I think about run out of the building, I think no chance, and I could see a scenario with...
Well, I don't know. 21's kind of right on that cusp, isn't it?
It is getting there. You're right. I can see that. I can. I question Colorado's defense, and without their best player, I'm just sort of wondering how they get these points.
It's a lot of how Colorado scores?
Yeah.
What's Oregon giving up? I mean, first of all, what is Oregon, 3-0? Oregon has played Portland State, Texas Tech, and Hawaii. Okay? They gave up 30 to Texas Tech. How many did Wyoming give up to Texas Tech in regulation? Not even that, right?
20.
Tell me why I think Oregon's defense is so great, because they held Portland State. They beat them 81-7. All right. I mean, good for you. You beat up on Portland State. You beat Hawaii 55-10. You probably should beat Hawaii 55-10. And they beat Texas Tech 38-30. That's a team that Wyoming beat. Why do I think their defense is so great? Why can't Colorado score on them? We don't know what they are yet. I'll take 21. Look, and that means go the other way, and you're going to laugh at me, and you're going to come on Monday and say you're wrong, and I'm always wrong. I'm fine with that.
Travis Hunter being out affect that at all?
It's got to, yeah. It's got to affect it on both sides. Yeah, you lose your best player, yeah, it affects you. But that's a big, big number. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. When we come back, it is Niners and Giants tonight. Brock Purdy may be without one of his weapons. Does that affect what you think about the Niners and Giants tonight? Is maybe you're getting ready to get down on it, or even just watch it, or I don't know, maybe even play fantasy football with it. Tell you the latest on that and the Niners when we get back. Hey, you ready for Fiesta? Balloon Fiesta's coming. What that means to you probably is your family's coming. People are coming to town. Get your car cleaned before all the chaos starts. Get your car cleaned for you, because you're in it so much, and it's way more fun to be in a vehicle that looks and smells and feels clean. Call On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Have them come out and detail your vehicle. They come to you where it's convenient for you, when it's convenient for you. What does that mean? They go to your office. They go to your work. You don't go to them. You're busy. They're out in the parking lot. You get a text. You go outside, and your car looks and feels and smells like the day you took it off the lot. It's that cool. Call them. 505-859-2859. Area code 505-859-2859. Or you can book online at otsdetailing.com. That is otsdetailing.com.
This report is sponsored by Macy's Backstage. What will you find?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
All right, football tonight on your home for Thursday Night Football and Monday Night Football and, well, I mean, it feels like every night football. Niners and Giants tonight. Niners receiver Brandon Ayuk dealing with a shoulder injury. Availability for tonight's game in question. He is listed as a limited participant on the injury report, which is an upgrade because he was listed as did not play on Monday. So Wednesday, which would be yesterday, there was a show in San Francisco on KMBR, and their general manager, John Lynch, said he's a game-time decision. Look, they're going to beat the Giants if they're without Debo and Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey, right?
No.
I mean, you don't think so?
No, that'd be a bit much.
All right. Well,
changes everything.
That's not the issue. So that's just not the issue. They're going to beat the Giants without Brandon Ayuk, right? This is a big deal to you. I mean, it's a big deal for this week. Then they get the mini bye, and he's going to be fine. I think. So keep that there. We talked about the Bears earlier, and we talked about Justin Fields. We didn't talk about the other thing that kind of was the first shoe that dropped there. their defensive coordinator, Alan Williams, this doesn't happen this way anyway. Guys get fired. And then guys get out in front of the posse and say, I quit before I get fired. Are you firing your defensive coordinator 2 weeks into the season?
If his house gets raided by the FBI, maybe.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm taking a step back, said Alan Williams. To take care of my health and family, I appreciate the opportunity to work with the Chicago Bears. He'd been away from the Bears since last week for a personal reason. There were few details around his absence. There was a one-sentence statement from the team confirming his resignation. This is weird, man. And then your quarterback comes out and blows up the coaches. Like, if you go to work and you're the Bears today, how you feeling? Is your head spinning? I know, JJ, we had this conversation early, and you and I differ on airing laundry or having making the comments in the media. You know, you said sometimes coaches need to be called out. What's the difference? And it's a really fair point. What's the difference between a coach calling out a player and a player calling out a coach? Right? And we somehow accept when a coach says, well, the player's got to play better. But if a coach says, or I'm sorry, if a player says a coach has to coach better, we have a problem with that, right? You think that's an unfair double standard?
I believe that it's not as far off as others. I think if you're going to talk about it, then you just got to be able to get back in that office and then own it.
And then instead, and if you're just joining us or if somehow you haven't heard the Justin Fields stuff, Justin Fields was asked, what's wrong? He said, I'm playing robot. You got it up? He said, I'm playing like a robot. I don't feel like me. And he was asked, what's wrong? And then after practice, he came out and he went back on it. So here's Justin Fields' initial comments in a press conference before practice in his typical Wednesday media availability.
Of course, things that I didn't like, I felt like, I wasn't necessarily playing my game. Felt like I was kind of robotic and, not playing like myself. So, my goal this week is just to, say F it and just go out there and, play football how I know how to play football.
When you say thinking less, what do you think was causing you to think so much?
Could be, coaching, I think. But, at the end of the day, it makes it, they're doing their job when they're giving me, what to look at and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I, can't be thinking about that when the game comes. I prepare myself throughout the week. And then when the game comes, it's, it's time to play free at that point.
All right. So then the world blew up, right? They went out and practiced. The world blew up. Did Justin Fields say that? Was he coerced to say it? Did the media make that up? Did he say it's coaching?
He said it was coaching.
All right. Was that a media fabrication? Did they bait him?
Nope.
Is it a fair question? Well, why do you think you're playing like that?
Absolutely.
All right. This is after practice. Justin Fields went out and practiced with his team, came off the field, presumably was told by somebody, because obviously he was alerted to this, that social media had gone bonkers about this, that it was blowing up, that his comments were everywhere, and he needed to address them. And so this, from what I understand, he called the media together in the locker room to make this statement.
You guys' jobs are to get clicks, so it's like when you take my quote out of context and when you just say that, if you paint the picture on the inside out, like y'all are trying to split us up as a team. I'm not blaming anything on the coaches. I'm never going to blame anything on the coaches, never going to blame anything on my teammates. I will take whatever happens in the game, I will take all the blame. I don't care if it's a drop pass, it should have been a pass. Put it on me. But never will you hear anything come out of my mouth to where I will blame it on somebody else. In this organization, my teammates, never will you hear that. So I just want to clear that up and just know that, like, I need to play better. That's it, point blank. If y'all, that's what I should have said in the first place. But
yeah, it's what you should have said, but not what you did. Look, here's the deal. And I don't hate Justin Fields, and he's a young man who said something that he had to backtrack. But to sit there and say, never will you hear something come out of my mouth where I blame it on somebody else. And the question was, why do you think that is? You said, I'm not playing well, I'm playing robotic, right? All those things. You said it. You weren't asked, you weren't baited. And so the follow-up was, well, why do you think that is? And I think a fair translation of why do you think that is, well, what's the cause of that, right?
Yep.
And your response was coaching. And then 2 hours later, you come back and say, never will you hear it come out of my mouth where I blame someone else. It absolutely came out of your mouth. This isn't clickbait. This isn't you guys have to get clickbait or get clicks or you got, no, stop. Stop. This is where you lose respect. Okay, this is where you're sitting there saying, I own it, but you guys did it. No. There are absolutely instances where the media blows stuff up. There are plenty of instances, you guys, where I've been embarrassed by our profession. This isn't one of them. This young man said it. Then he backtracked it and tried to blame it on the media. That's literally not what happened. And you can't sit here and say, I own it. You'll never hear it come out of my mouth. No, young man.
It did.
It absolutely came out of your mouth. There's no other context. You took it out of context. You said, I'm playing robotically. I'm not playing like me. You were asked, why is that, do you think? You said coaching. How is that out of there's no other context. And then to backtrack and blame it on someone else while you're saying I'll never blame it on someone else is a really tough look. He lost a lot of people yesterday. He had a lot of support and lost a lot of people. I just hope for his sake he didn't lose that locker room. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Your home for Monday night and Sunday night and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
I'm New Mexico's Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
All eyes on Bill. Fascinating conversation about locker room dynamics. And what you say, how you say it. How are players feeling in the locker room? There's Justin Fields, if he keeps playing like this, he's losing everyone regardless of what he says. And that is the thing it always can come back to.
And you say how he says it. It's really important to note that his first reaction was to say the coaching. Yeah. He threw it on them right away.
Which would make you feel that that's how he feels, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think the dynamic of this, that's what I like trying to break down and figure out. Because I think these locker rooms are a lot tougher than we realize, because we're so about chemistry and everyone kumbaya. And, oh my gosh, did he say something mean? Well, that whole locker room is going to fall apart. Well, it's falling apart if they're 0-4, 0-5, regardless of what it said. If there's no improvement, if there's no playmaking, and call it all you want, it's going to collapse.
Is it the right way? I mean, and I don't know if he's addressed it with his offensive staff, with his head coach. I'd like to believe he has, and this is a frustration boil over. I'm going to contend that if he has not, then this is a bad move. If you got a problem, like I always tell you, we've had this conversation. You got a problem with me, come to me. Look me in the eye and tell me you got a problem. I don't want to hear it. You don't have to go to my boss. You don't have to go to your boss. You don't have to go to the media. If we got an issue, come to me, look me in the eye and tell me we got an issue, right? If he's got a problem with the offensive staff, he's got to go to them. Now, if he's already done that and this is frustration, it's an overflow, then we have somewhat of a different story. I've just never seen a situation where it works well, where a guy airs his laundry in the media and, okay, then somehow they fix it.
You know, this is a maturity thing, too. When my 18-year-old doesn't want to be totally truthful with me, if I ask her something directly, the first thing she does is put it on someone else.
Right.
And that's what I saw. And I'm not trying to call him a kid because he's certainly a grown man. But when he said coaches, he probably was just thinking anyone but him because he didn't want to answer those questions. Unfortunately, when you throw your coach under the bus, it kind of makes it worse.
Well,
but yeah. I think that was the reaction just to get the
I think that's right.
The spotlight off him, but unfortunately it got much, much brighter.
Well, and you're responsible for what you say, right? We sit here and talk for 3 hours. If there's plenty of times where I come back and say, you're right, I was wrong on that, or I shouldn't have said that, but I don't know that I ever say, you won't ever hear that come out of my mouth. That's not a fair analogy. The young man flat out was asked, why do you think that is? What's the cause of what
he
you just
overcorrected
said?
On the back end?
Well, and
like if he came back and just said, ultimately at the end of the day, whatever happens on the football field, it's on me.
Yeah.
Just trying to walk it back a little bit.
But to say I never will say that, you just did.
It was the trying to blame it on the media stuff, which is not going to go over well because what are we doing? We're talking about it. We're the media.
It's a bad look.
But I don't think the rest of the locker room is.
That's fair.
Doing what we're doing about this comment.
Totally fair. Jerry, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Jerry.
Hey.
Hey.
So, were you just talking about Justin Fields?
We were.
That's what it sounded like.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, okay.
It's that Jerry. It's that. I didn't know it was that Jerry. It's like the Jerry Palm Jerry.
Yeah.
Look at that. How are you? That's your team, isn't it? Aren't you a Bears fan?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, we're just talking about. We're talking about. Look, say what you say. I don't ever think it's good to air it in the media. But he flat out said, when asked, what's the issue? It's the coaches, and came back and said, you guys are blowing it out of proportion, and I'll never blame it on someone else. No, Jerry, he flat out.
Well, he definitely tried to walk it back.
Yeah.
It was a question he was unprepared for, in his own head, unprepared for, why do you think this is? And, it's like, well, I don't really think he meant to put it as much on the coaching as it sounded.
Yep, but he did.
Yeah, but I think it's just, it's like he's overthinking, and the coaches are giving him a lot to think about, and he's overthinking. But, it's the kind of a thing where he just needed to say it better. I thought it sounded worse than it really was.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. He's Jerry Palm from CBS Sports, and he's with us on the Sports Animal. Just about 30 minutes late, but we're later than we normally have.
I had a time zone problem today.
No, I appreciate it.
I thought it was Australia. We had like a half hour.
We were
difference.
Australia, and then we came back to our little world. It's crazy. Hey, we're having this conversation, and everything in college sports centers around Coach Prime right now. 9.3 million average viewers blew away the number that ESPN's ever had on the late broadcast. I mean, it's everywhere. They're a 21-point dog this weekend, which is insane. Everybody's going to be up in Eugene. We had a conversation. Is he a good coach? And ultimately, I think we've landed that he is because they win. And what is a coach? Is he an X and O guy? Is he a motivator? Is he a good football coach?
And in college sports, it's recruiting as well. Which is different than the NFL. NFL is taking whatever your GM gives you and try to do something with it. In college sports, the head coach is the GM, goes out and gets the players, and he does that very well. I don't think we have enough real evidence to know whether or not he's someone who can get more out of his talent than is really there, which to me is what an especially good coach can do. But in college football, you can get players, then you can be a good coach. But I don't think we have enough information yet, at least not at this level, because he's played TCU, who was, number 2 last year, probably not that good this year, but, close game, won on the road, nice win. Colorado State, another close game, overtimes. And then, he's winning so far, but the real test is coming Saturday, and then next Saturday. Yep. At Oregon, home USC, that's when we find out, if the team that he's put together is ready to compete at this level. And I think we have to wait, as to say whether or not he's a good coach. I think we probably have to wait at least a full season.
If he splits these games, he owns the world. He just does.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy. I've never seen anything like it. And JJ and I were having this conversation. It's never been done before. I don't know who else could even do something like this. I mean, like The Rock was there, and Lil Wayne was there, and Jerry Palm.
Who else has the cachet? No one. He's an NFL Hall of Famer, and the personality to do it.
Jerry Palm, who are you going to? Were you there last week? Were you with The Rock and with Lil Wayne and everybody else? Were you there?
No, I was at Purdue.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that.
Kid in the band. I'm at Purdue a lot.
Yeah, you got the Rocky Long defense show last week with Syracuse, didn't you?
Yeah. We Purdue did almost nothing right in that game, and Purdue's having, they've got they're running the air raid offense. Graham Harrell is the offensive coordinator, and they can do a lot in the air, but on 1-yard plays, Purdue's had 22 plays where they only needed to get 1 yard for a first down or a touchdown, and they've converted 6 times in 22 tries.
That's not a good.
And I think if you missed 6 times out of 22, you'd be disappointed.
Yeah. 6 out of 20 was horrible. Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, is with us on the Sports Animal.
Well, we go from the flavor of the month, Deion Sanders, to Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss at Alabama, Nick Saban. What do you think of that matchup and where Alabama is right now?
Here's where college football is right now. That game's flying under the radar. I think it's an interesting game because Lane is going to come in and is going to try and throw. And Texas showed that you can throw on Alabama. You can get deep on Alabama if you can protect well enough. Because of course Alabama's front seven is pretty good, but the secondary can only cover for so long. So they're going to come and try and do what Texas did, at least in the air, against Alabama, and then they're going to try and make Jalen Milroe beat them, and we'll see if he can. But Alabama's got a problem in that they've got 3 quarterbacks that the coaching staff doesn't trust. At some point, you got to have one. And I think going back to Milroe was the right decision. Yes. But he's got to start winning games, and they've got to start being productive offensively against better caliber opponents. And, they scored reasonably well against Texas. It wasn't a perfect game. They had way too many penalties, but, they couldn't score against South Florida. So that's why they go back to Milroe. And, this game is more likely to be a shootout than not if it's not a shootout. then Alabama's probably winning.
Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, with us on The Sports Animal. You got Florida State, all that momentum after beating LSU, 2-point win at Boston College. They get to go to Clemson this weekend. What do you make of that contest?
Yeah, I think Florida State might have been looking ahead a little last week. That's obviously a big game, but it's really bigger for Clemson than it is for Florida State because Clemson's already lost a conference game. If they lose this one, they may not get to even play for the ACC title. So it's a really big game for Clemson. Florida State is the better team. Clemson's going to have trouble covering their receivers. It'll really be interesting to see what Mike Norvell's got for Clemson offensively. If they've got something they haven't shown, and Clemson the same way. You know, they're going to need to find a way to move to score. You know, they couldn't score against Duke. They could move the ball, but they couldn't score. So now they've got to find a way to score. And if they can't, you know, if they just can't punch the ball in on goal-to-go situations, you know, it's going to be a long day for Clemson.
Hey, Jerry, if I said to you, you can only watch two of them. You got Florida State, Clemson, Colorado, Oregon, UCLA, Utah, Ole Miss, Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame. I think Oregon State, Washington State's good. Which two would you pick this weekend?
Ohio State and Notre Dame, and the Florida State Clemson game.
Yeah, that's good. We got a really good weekend. There's an idea floating around with the 2-pack that's left out of the Pac-12. The 2-pack being Washington State and Oregon State, and then the Mountain West. And there's this relegation conversation. So basically, having 2 leagues, right, and moving up and down between the Pac.
I thought they said they were going to make it three leagues.
Well, it would be two,
huh?
Yeah, they're looking at 2. They're talking about 2 8-team leagues, adding 2 more, and potentially doing it for other sports. What I don't know how much you've read into this, how much you've heard. Your initial thought about something like that, because obviously they're thinking out of the box. Which does something like that work for you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a soccer fan, so yes, I'm used to the concept. I got the impression that this was a football-only thing, and that the other sports would play in their regular conferences like they normally do. You know, so they wouldn't be subjected to. They wouldn't be moving around. You know, the football team gets relegated. They're not. You know, the football team is relegated, and the rest of the sports play in the conference that they always play in. So, but yeah, sure, why not? It's you know, if they ever come up with the Super League in football with the champions, they should, you know, have a couple of those and do that there too.
Yeah.
You know,
it's interesting, and I wonder how it would work, and especially for other sports. And are you playing in different leagues? And JJ brought this up, right? You budgeted next year. You're in the, you know, you're getting PAC money, but all of a sudden now you're getting the other money. And how do you budget? And I think there's so many things. You know, conceptually, it's interesting. I just don't know how you get down to the details.
Well, and if you watch soccer like in the Premier League in England and all the European leagues, America is really the only place they don't do this. You know, if you come up, you get a bunch of money, but still 2/3 of those teams, maybe even more on average, end up getting relegated again. You come up and then you go right back down. So, you know, the teams that go down, though, they have different budgets too, and it's not always easy for them to go right back up. The percentage of teams that go right back up, I don't think it's as high as the percentage of teams that go right back down. But that's soccer. And but I imagine that football would be similar because the budgeting issues would be different. And all of a sudden, the problem is that football in England, you know, soccer, doesn't fund a bunch of other sports.
Yep. Exactly.
But in football, in America, college football funds all of these other sports. So if all of a sudden your budget is vastly different suddenly, you know, then you've got a problem not just with football, but all of these other sports that you're trying to fund.
Jerry, the Ohio State Notre Dame game, Ohio State at Notre Dame, what are your takeaways of that? I know you said it's one you want to watch. What do you think is going to play out?
I think it could be a shootout. Both teams, I mean, Notre Dame is playing very well. Ohio State got off to kind of a slow start against Indiana, but looked a lot better, you know, this week. But there's so many offensive weapons on the field. Notre Dame has probably got the better quarterback, which is something we would not have said for probably years. But they've probably got the better quarterback in this game. So I think it's going to be fun. I think you're going to see some really talented offensive players on display, and I don't really I wouldn't want to be a defender on either team in this game.
Fun watches, man. We got a good, fun weekend. Enjoy it. Where are you going to be? You going with Purdue somewhere? Where are you going to be this week?
Purdue's at home Friday night with Wisconsin.
Nice.
A team they haven't beaten since George Bush was president. So
the beauty of that is, though, you get to ride the couch all day Saturday and watch them all.
Yes, that's right. So Friday night football, I'm actually kind of glad to be able to have Saturday to just watch all these great games that we have.
Put in the miles. It'll be good stuff. We'll catch you next Thursday. Appreciate you checking in with us.
All right, thanks.
Read him every day over on CBS Sports. Follow him on the Twitter or the X. It's at JP Palm CBS. He is the great Jerry Palm with us this morning on the Sports Animal. All right, that was interesting. I got an email that says, "How about that? Like Smooth Jerry disguised as a regular caller. He did just kind of sneak under the radar, huh? I would have taken him quicker."
He just said it's Jerry, and he did not sound like Jerry Palm usually when I call him. So yeah, that's on me.
There he was. I'm just putting him on like he's Adolf or Rudy, and he kind of is. Just another. He's one of us.
It's Jerry. Yeah,
he's just one of us.
He is. He's part of the opening drive.
One of the people. All right. When we come back, running back trade yesterday in the National Football League. A guy who started the season, maybe one of your top 20 running backs in the league, changed teams, went from one team to a team that probably needs some help at running back. Does it make a difference? And did they fleece the Rams? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Telling it like it is.
Olivas going to the corner of the end zone. Nice grab there by Josh Jackson, and that's going to be a touchdown, El Dorado.
Their strong point, their focal point, and their
Nelson will keep it himself for some room on the right side. Nelson's on his feet, and he is in. It's a touchdown for Noah Nelson.
Sliding, they slid out of going out there. Linebacker, they're going for the big gutter play. How did he hold on to that, Ethan Olguin? My goodness, a 32-yard bomb. He's going to launch this one long, and it's a little bit short, but what a pull down. Fabian Trujillo, unbelievable, this man.
Dyer, back to pass. Pressure, he gets out of it nicely. On the sideline, got an open man, it's Lambrana. Cheeto made one miss. Cuts back up the middle. Another cut to the right, and he's all the way down at the 10-yard line.
Is that Sweet Pete Jr.?
Right?
That's Sweet Pete Jr. right
What
there.
a move there by Cheeto Lambrera.
Second and one, give it to Gallus. Once again, he evades one tackle, evades two. Breaking into the open, there's a block, bye-bye. And he breaks the last tackle to get through. Jack Gallus with the touchdown.
Happy with his defense so far. Vukovic, and that ball is ripped up. Bernalillo will have this ball at the 1-yard line.
That's the extra yards for Cheeto. Dyer quickly, it's batted into the air, and it is picked off. Rams football as Rio Rancho finally gets the turnover they need as it's tipped into the waiting arms of Vincente Tafoya. Ryan Brown had punched it into the air. and allowing Tafoya to come away with it. Let's see if Nelson can make it
right
pay.
back.
No! LaCueva gets it back on another tip drill. It falls into the waiting arms of the senior Luke Ryder.
Kick is up. It will bounce into the arms of Daniel Garcia, and Garcia explodes through the middle. He dodges Castro, and Garcia will run that one back from about the 17-yard line. Call that one an 83-yard touchdown rush.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road.
Vikings and Rams made a trade. Cam Akers goes from the Rams to the Vikings. He was benched. He's been in the doghouse for a year and a half. Wasn't working with him and Sean McVay, the coach. Opening drive, Jeff, JJ, and DC. You get National Football League here on the Sports Animal tonight. Just like you do on Thursday nights and Sunday nights and Monday nights. And if you listen to football, it's probably here on the Sports Animal. Sean McVay said this week, so Cam Akers put out a tweet on Sunday or Saturday when he was inactive. So not really sure. Basically said, I don't understand what's going on. Sean McVay, the coach, said, no, it was made pretty clear to him what's going on. It was made clear to him and his agent what's going on. This shouldn't have been a surprise. We've been very clear to him. Vikings said, all right, we'll take him. So it's a weird trade. The Vikings get the running back and a 7th-round pick. Rams get a 6th-round pick. That's how badly they wanted it. Like, here, just take our dude, just give it, fine, I'll take your 6th, you get our 7th, you take this dude, let's just be done with it. You're not a big Cam Akers believer. I guess there's no reason to believe in Cam Akers. We've never seen, he's just another
average
back.
NFL running back.
Yeah.
That people were like, well, he's RB1 in the Rams, so he's going to be RB2 for your fantasy football team.
Does this make a difference for Minnesota? Is Alexander
Minnesota's
Madison
desperate right now because Alexander Madison, who was handed the keys
Yep.
to the running back room, because Dalvin Cook's too old.
That's right.
Dalvin Cook's too old. Averaged 3.5 and 3.1 yards per carry in the first 2 games. Dalvin Cook would look pretty good in Minnesota right now.
Dalvin Cook doesn't look that good with the Jets right now. But yes, somebody would look good there. So they were desperate for a running back. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, they gave up nothing. They took a shot. I got no problem with what Minnesota did. I don't even have what problem with the Rams did. Rams were like, we're done with this guy. It looks like they found somebody, Kyron Williams. Like, he looks pretty good after two games. He looks really good. If you didn't pick him up on waivers, you should have. Right? I don't have a problem with it. It's just weird. The NFL's weird, man. As far as communication, what people say and what people don't say, I look at the Justin Fields thing, I look at this thing, I look at all of it, and you're just like, sometimes you just wonder, what do people say? What do people say?
To piggyback off JJ's point, they only have 69 rushing yards in 2 games. So I think Akers is going to be a welcome addition. And you're right, Cook would look real good there after seeing the first 2 games, but they had to make a move, and they did. So I'll give them credit for that. But 69 yards in 2 games is it's
pathetic. It's pathetic. I don't want to circle back to the Dion thing. I got a text basically. How do you say he's a great coach? I don't think I ever said he's a great coach. I asked the question, do you think he's a good coach? And I answered the question by saying,
you asked the question, is he a
good coach? Well, I said, is he a good coach?
You said
Did I say he's a great coach? Yeah. Okay. I think he's a good coach. I don't know that I think he's a great coach. Why do I think he's a good coach? Because the results he's won. And what is the job? And Jerry Palm just talked about it. What's the job of a college coach? To recruit, to promote, to win. If they go 4-8, is he a great coach? I don't know that I think he's a great. I think he's really good. Because what he's done, his players seem to believe in him. He's won wherever he's been. Is it about hype? I don't know. I mean, yeah, part of it's about the hype because what the hype has done for that university. And DC, what you were saying about the amount of money that's come in to that community, to that university. I mean, isn't that a part of why you sponsor football?
His sponsors are happy. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. 9.3. This isn't, I've been accused, this is your sports talk media. I don't know, man. Is it because of this show that 9.3 million people broke the record for the most watched game ever?
Yes.
In that late ESPN window on Saturday night?
Absolutely.
It's because of what we've done. We're pretty powerful.
Yeah. All 9 million people in New Mexico.
Email Jeff@sportsanimalabq.com. Candy Corn Nation member and haters of the OD and the AM. Like Delonte Carlos. That's you, DC. Delonte Carlos.
It's a new one. All right.
I'm not 100% ready to wear the Kool-Aid colored Prime sunglasses. Is he a good coach? Doesn't matter. His star power and his promotional and marketing skills overcome any coaching deficiency he may have. So far, he's also a master recruiter. And good coaches and good players are more than willing to ride his coattails, his rising star, to wherever they can get to. A frequent question asked on this show, who is this for? Or who are we doing this for? Well, in Prime's case, we know the answer. All of the descriptions of him and his success are about him and his success. He is transcending sports. He is doing things that have never been done, et cetera, et cetera. CU's administration brought in Prime for money, notoriety, and wins. Oh, and money. Prime is doing this for himself, his brand, and money, his reputation, his product lines, and himself. By default, both Prime and CU are doing it for the fans, too. They're going crazy for all things Prime and subsequently all things CU football. Those kids that were run off were 1-11, laughing stocks of a major conference and all around terrible players. It's almost like they deserved to get the boot. Speaking of those kids, like the ex-TV guy, I'm a DirecTV subscriber, which means I had to catch Prime's 60 Minutes interview on YouTube. He was asked about the CU kids that were purged. And he was a bit wishy-washy, saying that they were weak and not the kind of kids they wanted because they didn't ignore him telling them to leave and stay and fight for their spots. Why not just say they weren't any good? I also learned in that interview that in addition to himself, his kids, and the best players, he also took coaches, administrators, and trainers with him to see you. And that he doesn't want to talk about Jackson State at all. Decimated might not be a strong enough descriptor of the way he left that program. A caller earlier this week was a bit incredulous to my comment about questioning if CU will be better off post-Prime. Even asking the sarcasm-filled rhetorical question, would you rather him not have gone to CU at all? Well, I'd say, why don't you ask Jackson State that same question and see if they think that's rhetorical. Getting ready for a fantastic football weekend, Grady in Santa Fe, by way of another grateful Prime victim, the U of A. It's really interesting. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know anything about Jackson State other than they gave up 77 to Texas State last week. Mm-hmm. Are they better off because he was there and left? I don't know. Would they have are they glad they had that 2 to 3 year run with Prime and now they're back to being Jackson?
Well,
I don't know.
Grady can look at that as decimated, but that's also a step up for those other people. Would they have ever had that opportunity?
No.
To go to CU from Jackson State if it wasn't for Deion Sanders?
Would you have known
the
about
administrators,
Jackson State?
The training staff?
Yeah.
Like, so I get it. He left
Yeah.
destruction in his wake. But that's a step that the majority of people want to take. You can love your institution if you're an alumni. But if you're at Jackson State and Deion's like, hey, you want to come with me? I'm bringing my luggage, and I believe that you're Louis. To see you, well, yeah, what he left behind is testament. That's also an opportunity that some of those people might never have gotten if it wasn't for Deion Sanders.
Look, I don't doubt for a second Deion's about Deion, right? He is.
But if you're
Is he
with
uplifting
him
others?
on the ride,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Yeah. Now, is the crash something? I don't know. Jackson State can answer that question. When he leaves CU, the question is going to be, all right, now you're back to being CU. How do you feel about that?
But what were they before Deion got there?
Well, that's right.
Are they any better off now?
Yeah. Now, how does he talk about the players who left? Look, I mean, I didn't catch the 60 Minutes interview. I'd like to see that.
At some point, what else is left to say, man? You kicked them off the team.
Yeah, were they
You
weak?
cut 'em.
Were they weak because they didn't fight for their job? I don't know, man. Just say, look, we came in,
cut 'em.
they were 1-11, and we cleaned house. David says, come on, Jeff. JJ says it's okay for the players to go after the coaches on the air, but never go after the media. How dare he? I'll tell you how the media is blowing it out of proportion. The media was asking about his subpar play, and he responded that he is robotic, and one of the reasons was coaching. Just like you noted, the coaches probably want him staying in the pocket more, but his instinct is to run. So in the middle of the play, instead of flowing with the play, in his mind, he's trying to react to the way the coaches are coaching him. I don't think he was blaming them. I think he was trying to say that he's thinking too much about what the coaches are telling him. Never mind, Jerry just clarified this. Have a great day. Okay. Justin Fields. How the media is blowing it out of proportion. And you're saying he did not blame the media. He flat out said you guys want clickbait. This is fairly
I think
simple
his
to me.
second response makes it worse for you than his first comment.
I think you're right.
Like the fact that he tried to blame the media for something.
I just think it's
when you say coaching, that's part of that. There's players and there's coaches. And if you're in a media setting and you go, man, I think coaching's an issue, that's not shocking because that's what we do all day.
This one is relatively simple to me. And if I'm missing something, I'm listening. He said, I'm robotic. I'm not playing my way. And he was asked, why do you feel that? Why? And he said, coaching. That was, like, DC, as you said, the first thing that came out of his mouth. Okay, so what is the cause of you're not playing well? He was asked. He said coaching. He came back 2 hours later and said, I will never blame anything on anybody else. Well, you were asked, what is the cause? And you said coaching. You said it'll never come out of my mouth that it's someone else's fault. Or it's all on me. Well, it did, and you can own that, and you can explain it. Hey, I'm thinking a lot, and I'm being coached in a way that I've never been coached before. You can own it, but you can't go back after you flat out were asked a fair question. Why do you think that is? And you said coaching, and then you go back 2 hours later and said that never came out of my mouth, and it's you guys blown out of proportion. Let me tell you something about modern day media and social media. The media put that out. Twitter, which is all y'all, right? Twitter is common folk, right? Twitter is everyone with a thumb and a phone. They're the ones who ran with that yesterday. The media put it out. It was a media conference, a press conference. The media put out what he said. The Twitterverse, you, me, Uncle Herbie, you guys all ran with it. So that's where he's a little bit wrong on this. Get to the phones. I know you got a lot to say on this. Keep them coming at 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, DC, and all y'all on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
London's call.
This is was young driver. This one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
There's this. Did you know that Deion Sanders, filed for trademarks for 4 different phrases this week? Deion on Monday, through his trademark attorney, filed for federal trademarks for Coach Prime, Prime Effect, It's Personal, and this one can't be because I'm sitting right in front of this guy, Daddy Buck. How can he get the trademark on Daddy Buck?
Nope. We're gonna have a problem, Prime.
Aren't you Daddy Buck?
We're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, how do you not have that already? Is your patent attorney not on this, or trademark attorney not?
I'm getting Jeff's attorney to be my attorney, and we're getting this figured out this weekend.
The filings seek to protect those trademarks for a clothing brand, production company, and even coaching services. So you can't be Daddy Buck on the radio, even though you're a daddy and your name is Buck. If he gets these, so Coach Prime, Prime Effect, It's Personal, and Daddy Buck. All right, it's all about him, man. David, good morning. Thanks for holding here on the Sports Animal. Hi, David.
That reminds me, Disney tried to trademark Dia de los Muertos in preparation for their Coco movie. Ultimately, it was turned down because obviously it's public domain. Yeah. And ultimately, I'm mindful of when a player came up to Primetime and then called him Prime, he said, "No, I'm not Prime, I'm Coach, so call me Coach." And now he's going around calling himself Primetime, which is kind of ridiculous. But more to my point, if you listen to the quarterback from Chicago's statements, he actually is blaming the coaching, and I think any X and O's football person and ultimately Chicago Bears fan would know why. Last year to this year, there's a difference, and I don't know the difference, but then there's a difference in effect. His time holding the ball, ultimately his time of release, and what ultimately he said that most people today are missing in his statements are ultimately him saying, the coaches tell me to do this, I'm kind of robotic, I've spent the week preparing, and then I go to do it my own way, and there's a conflict between myself and the coach. Most people ask the question twofold. Do you pair the system to the player or the player to the system? Right. And ultimately, that's the basic question. Within that two dualism of possibilities, system to the player or the player to the system, what's going wrong in Chicago? Not that I really care because I hate the Bears, but ultimately that's the basic question. Because ultimately the quarterback guru would come in and say, okay, this is your problem. This is how you fix it.
Yep, I think that's right. No, David, thanks for the call. And that's a real question. Do you bring in an offensive coordinator? Look, they realized they thought, how about that? Because I don't know if realize is the right word. They thought they had something special in Justin Fields. They got a talent. David's not wrong. Do you create your offense around the talent, Justin Fields, or do you create your talent around your offense? Well, I want to throw the ball and I want to make him a pocket passer. Well, and I don't know that there's an absolute answer to that, right? But in this case, trying to make that young man a pocket passer, obviously after 2 games, isn't working.
You create the offense around the talent. When the talent is
that guy.
Justin Fields. We're not having a conversation. Bryce Young is going to play differently than Justin Fields. Bryce Young is going to win from the pocket. Justin Fields needs to win outside the pocket and then progress inside the pocket. And to me, I'm just copying everything Baltimore did with Lamar Jackson. I know there's frustrations, and Lamar wanted to pass more, and they brought in Todd Monken to be the OC to put the football down the field more. Well, calling a few more passing plays is different than trying to change who you are and your entire system. Lamar Jackson won NFL MVP under that old system, and it was pretty good. And if you want to tweak it, that's fine. But we even saw in week 1, Baltimore against Houston, not great. Week 2, they look more like themselves. They're running the football. Lamar Jackson picking up tough yards in the second half, making good throws, 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a great game for Lamar Jackson. He's not one of those dudes that's going to be putting up 300-plus yards through the air constantly. And maybe he's not going to have a 20-year career. I don't care what Lamar Jackson is 12 years from now, what Justin Fields wants to be 10 years from now. It's can we win right now? And the Chicago Bears, through 2 weeks, it looks like they misplayed their hand a little bit on how much they wanted to make sure Justin Fields is winning from the pocket.
It's interesting, right? I mean, it's really interesting. The other thing, he said something else in there, and I forgot what the other point was, but I thought he was right on it. Can you change this guy? I agree with you. I think he was speaking the truth. I think he's frustrated. I think they're trying to change him. I think all that's right. They're trying to fit him into an office that he probably doesn't fit into. He was frustrated. I don't ever know that I think it works when you decide you're going to voice it through the media.
I think if he left it at that and then just came back and said, you know what, all said and done at the end of the day, it is on me on the football field.
Yeah,
I think we move on. Yeah. Instead of trying to blame the media for it when it's something that he said.
And say I didn't say what I said.
And so I think for some people that makes them more upset
because
about
he's
what he
wrong,
said.
Man. And it's
because he's just trying to deflect blame. And in this case, like to me, I am over the narrative, well, running quarterback's going to get hurt. Well, right now, Justin Fields is not on a 10-year contract. We're just trying to get to year 5 and see if he's worth another contract.
So we've had 2 weeks of the National Football League, right? How many quarterbacks have been injured? 1?
Anthony Richardson.
Oh, that's 2. Okay, fair enough. I forgot about Anthony Richardson. And Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
How many of those are running quarterbacks?
1.
How many are out for the season?
1.
Of the one that's out for the season, how many of those are running quarterbacks?
Where would you classify Burrow's calf injury?
Not as a running quarterback, but he got hurt before the season in practice and non-contact injury. All right, Anthony Richardson, a running quarterback, got concussed getting tackled on a touchdown run. Aaron Rodgers, we do not consider running quarterback, right? Got tackled in the pocket and he's done. Injuries happen both ways, and most coaches, and like Danny Gonzalez has told us this a lot, his quarterbacks haven't got hurt running. They got hurt in the pocket. So your point on that narrative, I think, is right. I got more stuff for you on Dion, more stuff on Justin Fields when we come back. Wrap it up, give you everything you need to know as you go through your day. 505-246-0610 is the Sports Animal phone line and text line. It's still not too late to get in. Now is not the time to take your home or business security for granted. Aaron Jones started International Protective Service, IPS, years ago up in Fort Hills, and now they're protecting homes and businesses all over our city, including mine. Not only does IPS provide standing guards and armed patrols, they also install alarms, cameras to record criminal activity. They have got smart technology to control access to your home or to your business. At IPS, they'll monitor those systems. When they see something suspicious, they send someone to check it out. It's a winning combination to prevent you from being victimized. Look, police are going through a shortage. They've got so much to worry about. Home break-ins, your property, it can't be, and it's not a priority to them. At IPS, that's what they do. That's their priority. They're looking out for your business, for your home. That's their job, and they do it really well. I've been thrilled that IPS has been watching my home for these years, and I know you will be as well. Call them and talk to them about affordable private security. The number is 505-897-2420. That's area code 505-897-2420. Go to ipsglobal.com. Passionate about your security.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
5 left now, 4 left, 5 left, I think. And they are still 3 points out of the final playoff spot in the USL Championship Western Conference as they try to find their way in. So that's what people will be talking about around town as you go through it. Hey, I just got sent this post. There's, I think, a Facebook post, what I'm told, about Deion Sanders. It says Saturday night, Jimmy Horn Jr. And it's got a picture of him hugging a young man, one of his players, Jimmy Horn Jr. And there was a lot made of this on the broadcast. It says Saturday night, Jimmy Horn Jr. was having a rough game through 3 quarters of football. He was not being productive. He was getting frustrated. Coach Prime called him over, didn't yell at him like most coaches, spoke a few words of encouragement, then hugged the young man. A few minutes later, Jimmy Horn Jr. catches a touchdown on a game-tying drive. Moral of the story is Deion is a father and coach to them young men. Jimmy's father is not available, and Deion is being a father to more than just his sons. Y'all got to put some respect on Coach Prime. And I'm reading this. It says, young black men need more hugs. Hashtag Coach Prime. Hashtag I'm not hard to find. So when I ask, is he a good coach? And look, is the jury out on this? DC, you and I were just having a conversation. I try to take some of these topics that everybody's talking about, and I just try to look at them a little bit differently. I've never heard the question. Of all the conversation on Prime, I've never heard it asked, is he a good coach? Have you?
But and what's fascinating about this is in college football, you don't have to be Bill Belichick to be good.
That's correct. No, I think that's correct.
And, Boulder has a reputation. It's a very expensive town. Black players, coaches, people involved in athletics do get singled out. It's been a problem for a long time.
If you go back and look at that 30 for 30 from the McCartney, and I just saw that last week. I did not know that until I saw that last week.
Al Williams, who was on the team in the late 80s and 90s, won championship, talks about that in great depth. Him doing that that's a powerful move, and a lot of those kids in Boulder probably feel way out of place.
Let me ask you this, and I haven't really put this perspective on. I haven't thought about it. Where he's doing it. So the fact that this is Colorado, in Boulder, Colorado, which is not a diverse town.
The Free State is what they call it. They don't even consider themselves part of Colorado.
Boulder?
Boulder calls themselves the Free State.
I didn't even know that. What does that mean?
It means they do what they want.
Okay. Does that make this more significant that he's brought in these HBCU young men winning with that brash attitude let's call it what it is, in a white town, right? It is not diverse. Would it be different if it was in Birmingham or if it was in Atlanta or if it was in the South or if it was in a city where there is more diversity? I mean, I know that's a tough conversation and everybody's afraid to touch it, but I mean, is that part of the conversation here? What's going on there? Because you just brought up, and if you catch the 30 for 30 on, I forget what it was called, but on the McCartney, Eric Bieniemy, the Colorado Buffaloes back then. Why am I forgetting the young man from the Salanese, the quarterback from Vista who passed away, who fathered Coach McCartney's grandson, right? It's a crazy story. But you listen to those African-American men who went to Boulder and how they were treated by the police, by the people there. Is that a big part of the story too? Is that make it even, I don't know, more, put your word on it, whatever.
The Gospel According to Mac is the one you're talking about.
Yeah, okay. Catch it. I just literally, I stumbled across it a week and a half ago and couldn't stop watching it.
It's fantastic. And it does tell a story about Boulder that I think a lot of people don't
I didn't know.
No, yeah. So,
but does where this is happening, is that a significant part of the story?
I think it is, because he is playing the father role for a lot of people, and that is a very important role for 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. So when you talk about good coach being able to handle those things off the field with grace and class, there is something to that. I'll give him a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to guess Prime could have gone a lot of places. He took, I don't want to say the toughest job, but if you look at Power 5 job, he wanted a Power 5 job. Were there a lot tougher jobs, Power 5, than that one?
I think a lot of places were scared of Deion Sanders.
I think that's
because
right.
I mean, they'd have to give up some power.
Yep.
And the good old boys could not be in control if Deion Sanders showed up.
No, I think that's right. And Colorado had nothing to lose, right? Was it Rick George? Is he the AD up there? He said, "What do I got to lose? Bleep it. I'm all in. Big gamble for his career. This was hit or miss for his career, right? It was either going to blow up or blow up, and it's blown up. I mean, he's a genius now, right? This can be an interesting. Look, everybody's watching it. When it's all said and done, it'll be really interesting.
That'll be the 30 for 30 I want to see.
100%. No, 100%. Thanks to Jerry Palm for gracing us with his presence. What he had, I had a time zone issue, is what he said. I love Jerry Palm. Good stuff. Good contributions today. Adrian, it always looks good. DC, great show. Great show. Jim Rome show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowherd briefly. Well, you get Isotopes baseball. There's day baseball today. They play
Day
Oklahoma City.
baseball.
So you get day ball today. Then we're good in programming with Colin Cowherd. 2 Men On comes your way at 4. We're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Big day for you.
Huge day.
And enjoy it. Hey, be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. And we'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us.
Restaurant I have ever been, all of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.